The story begins with Kim, a charismatic basketball player manager, jogging and flirting with a girl, asking her out to dinner as usual. She says she has a boyfriend now, so Kim tells her to call him when she's single. Meanwhile, B, an advertising manager, arrives at her office. Her staff informs her they can't contact basketball player Jin, who is supposed to sign a contract with their company. They need Jin's contract to secure another deal with a department store, which B has to present in Busan later that day. Before going to the train station, a staff member brings B a change of clothes because her hair was ruined when someone hit her with a basketball. The new outfit makes her look stunning. In his office, Kim is also trying to contact Jin to discuss his plan to transfer him to the NBA in America, but Jin can't be reached. His senior, Kang, informs him that Jin might be in Busan, so they plan to take a train there. Kim and Kang pass by B on the train station's escalator and admire her look. Before getting on the train, B meets with two high school friends. One of them says she is going to marry a man she had only known for 2 months. B is surprised because the man is her first love, whom she dated a few years ago. She quickly says goodbye to make her trip to Busan. Kim buys a train ticket, but he and Kang have to sit in separate cars. While buying the ticket, they talk about Kim's one-night stand from the previous night, which makes the ticket lady uncomfortable until Kim thanks her and says her name, making her enchanted. Kang tries the same but gets a different reaction. On the train, it turns out that B is sitting next to Kim. Kim tries to start a conversation, even offering her half of his food. B tries to limit the conversation until an awkward incident occurs when she tries to leave her seat to take a call. The call is from her boyfriend, who asks her to send him her old laptop but forgets that she is on a business trip. B feels disappointed because he ignores her when she wants to tell him about her day, revealing their unhealthy relationship. B returns to her seat, and Kim has bought her bottled milk because she wanted one earlier. B misinterprets his attention as seduction and rejects him, saying she has a boyfriend. Kim is confident and keeps hitting on her, even telling her he wants to spend the night with her. She refuses and becomes uncomfortable, making her change seats. However, all the seats are taken, forcing her to sit back with Kim. They make a bet. Neither will say a word for the rest of the trip, and the loser has to buy the other food in Busan. B loses when she answers a call from her high school friend. Suddenly, the train stops for an unknown reason. B overhears Kim on a call talking about Jin and realizes he is Jin's manager. She agrees to treat him to food in Busan so she can follow him for a chance to meet Jin. Kim proposes they get off the train because it has stopped midway. B is forced to follow. Shortly after they get off, the train starts moving again, leaving them in the middle of nowhere while Kang is in the toilet. This forces Kim to contact an old school friend to borrow a car. They find out each other's names during the drive to Jin's family's house. It turns out a funeral is being held there, but Jin has already left. Kim and B decide to honor the funeral by eating the food being served. B hesitates, worried she will be late for her presentation, but Kim says he considers this a substitute for the treat she promised. The two leave after B becomes emotional because the funeral reminds her of her late father. Kim, despite being a playboy, is understanding and tries to comfort her on their way to downtown Busan. Kim invites B to eat at an excellent restaurant he knows after her presentation. She declines sarcastically and says she has to go back to Seoul. They talk about B's 10-year relationship and debate whether having one-night stands is normal. When they arrive in Busan, Kim escorts B to the presentation venue. B snidely says goodbye. Kim picks up Kang, who seems lost in Busan, but he realizes B left her laptop in his car. Kim immediately turns around. Kang, who sees him, chases the car until he falls into an open utility hole because he is distracted by a group of beautiful ladies. Meanwhile, B is nervous as her presentation goes poorly because she forgot her laptop. Kim arrives just in time to connect her laptop, allowing B to give her presentation perfectly and even convince the department store team that she will get Jin to sign a contract. After helping B, Kim leaves to pick up the unfortunate Kang. After the presentation, B goes to the restaurant Kim recommended. It turns out that Kim and Kang are also there. The three of them eat together, with Kang acting as the third wheel. Kim introduces B to the restaurant owner's daughter as his girlfriend, and it turns out Kim's aunt owns the restaurant. When B wants to pay, The owner says she doesn't have to because she's his nephew's lover. Kim takes B to find a taxi to the station, but just before getting in, Kim's niece tells him she knows where Jin is. They go to the basketball practice building, but Jin has already left again. The coach advises Kim not to pressure Jin to go to the NBA and to let him choose his own path, as he isn't as ambitious as Kim used to be. Kim still insists it's the best choice and that it's silly for Jin to deny the opportunity. After Kim and B leave, Kang comes to look for them but is left alone again. He takes a taxi to follow them but gets dropped off because he doesn't have his wallet. He then frantically chases the taxi because he forgot his phone in it. Kim takes B to a temple on a mountain where he thinks Jin might be. B is wearing high heels and is hesitant but eventually goes up. They again fail to find Jin. As they enjoy the view, a woman who knows Kim greets him, but he seems to have forgotten who she is. They then realize she is one of Kim's one-night stands. B makes fun of him. The two walk back from the temple until they have to take shelter from the rain. Kim notices B's feet hurt from walking in high heels and massages them. The rain stops, and B seems to be charmed by Kim's charisma and kindness. She says she wants to try and enjoy the night with Kim without any commitments. They buy some drinks and stay in a hotel room. B is nervous about sleeping with a man she just met for a one-night stand. Kim asks her why she finally is willing to do it. B answers that she thinks he's a genuinely good person. Hearing this, Kim feels it's wrong to take advantage of her because she isn't just a cheap woman he used to sleep with. He backs down and says they shouldn't sleep together that night. B feels terrible and regrets mustering up the courage only to be rejected. She leaves the hotel, and Kim chases her, saying he didn't mean it in a bad way. B already feels ashamed. To cheer her up, Kim takes her to the basketball practice building at night, which is off-limits to outsiders. They sneak inside for drinks and noodles. There, they talk. B talks about her boyfriend, who isn't willing to progress their 10-year relationship, while her friend is going to marry someone she just met months ago. Seeing her desperation, Kim tries to cheer her up by throwing a ball into the ring. They soon realize someone is coming. Officers come to check the room, making them run away. As the romantic tension grows, Kim and B sleep together at the gym. The next morning, Kim is taking a shower on the basketball court. While B is waiting outside, she hears someone coming. Embarrassed, they run away, with Kim still wearing a towel. Kim then escorts B to the Busan station and they heavy-heartedly end their one-night stand. After B leaves, Jin finally appears and says he doesn't want to go to the NBA. Although Kim tries hard to persuade him, Jin insists he wants a career in Korea because he loves his girlfriend too much to leave her. Kim finally understands Jin's reasoning and confronts his boss, saying he will not force Jin to go to the NBA just to benefit the agency. After quitting, Jin asks Kim to be his manager again, even outside the agency, because he can only trust him. Kim agrees and then asks Jin to sign the advertising contract for B's company. Meanwhile, B meets with her boyfriend and asks for a breakup. Their relationship is going nowhere, so it is better to end it. Later, Kim goes to B's office to give Jin's contract. He learns B isn't there, so he asks the receptionist to give it to her. It turns out she's at a cafe with her friends. Kim sits next to B, but she doesn't notice him. They chat about B's breakup and her friend asks about the guy B met on the train. She says he was just a one-night stand and that it meant nothing to her or him. Kim, who overhears this, feels devastated and disappointed. The playboy Kim was expecting much more than his usual one-night stands. To cope, he gets drunk with Kang. B also seems tormented, unable to confess her feelings to Kim. Sometime later, the receptionist mistakenly tells B that her boyfriend, Kim, wrote beautiful words for her in Jin's contract. She finds the memo Kim wrote, realizes her mistake, and runs to find him at Jin's basketball arena. Kim isn't there. He is leaving for Chicago. Kang calls him to say B came there. Meanwhile, B runs to the train station, but his train has already left. However, Kim didn't get on the train. Standing in front of each other, B says what she said in the cafe wasn't true and confesses her feelings. And so, they live happily ever after. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more recaps like this. See you next time.